Hello, I'm Otto and welcome to episode 3 of my Factorio 2.0 guide. This is a no DLC run for new players. So in the last episode we created this smelter stack for both iron and copper and set up some more miners. And in this episode we are going to start the process of making a starter base. So some people like to make a starter base like this, which will give us the initial supplies that we need to start building a larger base, which in the future will be over in this direction. And some people will just continue to handcraft into oblivion, which we need to do. We need to get some more iron. And we're gonna make a bunch of these. So some people will handcraft and just start making their main base from what they have already, or what they're collecting as they, as they go along. Let's just say that. So we need to set a couple of things up. So from here, I need to kind of map out a few things. So we will do some ghosting, and I need certain things to line up, which you will see shortly. Whoops. And I need them to line up like this. So what am I doing? I'm creating a starter base. We are hand making some assembling machines, and we need to get to the process of automating. And one of the first things that we need to know is that we want to try to prioritize whatever is the most important at the start. And this is kind of like a bus. And what a bus is it's where you bring in materials and you craft things and you place them onto the bus and slowly feed off of it. So later on we will have a bus that is much longer and much larger than what we have here. In fact, our entire base will be centered around something that's kind of like this, just much more scaled. It's going to be much larger. So we have a kind of full belt of iron plates coming through here in our bus that will be located over here. We will have room for 6 lines of iron and a bunch of other things, so we will get there. So we need to turn our iron plates and our copper plates into usable materials. We are going to be adding some things that come onto a belt here. This will be intermediate products. So the first thing that we're going to add is we need some green circuits. So let's talk about ratios for a second. So when we make green circuits, what are they called? Electronic circuits, you can see that we need 1 iron plate and 3 copper cables. The craft time is 0.5 seconds. The craft time doesn't mean that much right now because the assembling machines do not have a full crafting speed of 1, which would give us exactly what the intended amount is, which is a 0.5 crafting time. And because the assembling machine ones have a crafting speed of 0.5, they will craft slower than 0.5. But something new to Factorio 2.0 is we can actually see the actual speed per second over on the right hand side. So we need 1 iron plate per second, and we need 3 copper cable per second to produce 1 electronic circuit per second. So if we need copper cables, what does the copper cable assembling machine make? It needs 1 copper plate per second and 2 produces 2 copper cable per second. So this can be directly fed into here like this, and this one needs 3, so this one will also be copper cable, and that one can feed in there. Then we can take 1 in the middle and split and have half of it go into this one and half of it go into this one like this. Makes sense? So this will produce 6 copper cables per second, and these two together need 6 copper cables per second. This is our ratio for this particular product. We need them to get in materials, and we need to put them out onto something. Now, it also needs iron plates, and should have made a couple of these beforehand. So to get the iron plates off of the belt over here, we're going to use a longhand inserter to insert into these machines like this. Now this has access to copper cables from here and iron plates from here. And there we go. Once we get power, let's just go ahead and set up power. We're gonna need one kind of in the middle for all 3 of these. And then we need to drag power back this way. And we're just gonna drag this straight down. And there we go. Now we have automated green circuits. How about that? So I needed these to line up a very specific way, and we're about to see why. So, transportation belts, they need iron plates and iron gear wheel, or iron gears. And we also need to make underground belts, which surprisingly need transportation belts and 10 iron plates. And we also need splitters, which also need transportation belts. So we put the transportation belt in the middle so that we can feed into both of these. And then we will take a chest and collect them here. We also need to collect the undergrounds and the splitters and collect from them, or collect for them. Now, we don't want to just endlessly produce things because we are automating. So if we just let this go, as an example, it would start to fill up this entire thing. So one thing that you can do is you can limit it, let's say to 1 stack, like this. And maybe this one we want, let's say 6 stacks. And this one we probably want 1 or 2. We can do 1 for now. These things are kind of a hog. So that's one thing that we can do. But if you saw my 0.5 episode 0.5, then you will know that we intentionally unlocked a lot of this down here. And I did say that one of the reasons why was for the red wire and the green wire. Now, the first time that you unlock these when you're playing Factorio, it will open up this bar for every playthrough that you have there on out. I intentionally removed the ability to have these to show you unlocking them, but I did actually have access to all of them. Again, once you get to that point, and it's really not that far away, like it wouldn't have been that long, but I do want to showcase them and use them early because in Factorio 1.0, we actually needed materials to access these. We had to actually create a physical red wire and a physical green wire. We no longer have to do that. Thankfully, we can just use them and make them. So what can we use some of this for? Well, this is the first kind of big change, what I'm discussing now, and we can use them for circuits. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the red wire and attach it from this inserter into this box. So this has now created a circuit network between these 2 items because they are connected via the red wire. You could also connect via the green wire. We're not going to do that, and most of our single circuit connections will be done with a red wire. So let's see what that does. So if we open up this inserter, this is the screen that we have. And if we open up the inserter that is connected via a circuit connection, we can see this little box up here that has popped up that shows us, hey, this is connected via the circuit. And it's also indicated here. This is our circuit connection. So we can then tell it to enable or disable. And I don't know why they have disable on here because it really should, it's kind of confusing, but the question that you need to ask yourself is, I want to enable, so I want this machine to enable when something is or function here something. So what that means is, since we are creating transportation belts or yellow belts, I want to enable this machine when yellow belts are less than 600. Like that. So now I no longer need this. So what does that allow me to do? So let me just kind of show off. Let's go 2. So if I wanted to insert something into this machine, I could pick it up and put it in there. Or I can shift click and put a stack in there. Shift click to remove. Or I can control click to put everything that I have in as much as possible. This limiter prevents me from control clicking everything that I have into this. I can still manually add stuff to the red section, and it will take away from items that are in the red section, but it will not let me put in any more like this than what is already here. However, if I have this limited by a circuit connection, I can have a limit of 600, which is 6 stacks, so that'll bring us to here. But I can also intentionally put more in after the fact. This isn't a big deal now. It will become a lot more apparent in episode 26, I think, is when we're going to go over a lot more of this in detail. Whenever we get to episode 26, possibly somewhere between, let's say, 25 and 27. They should all line up that way, but we will see when we get there. And this is for robots. So robots will end up helping us make stuff. And this is a way for us to allow robots eventually to take stuff out, but also be able to place things back in if we have, like, say, too many. So, okay, going back to our little setup here. If we Alt and left click on transportation belt, we can see what the ingredients are, where we can make them, and what all needs this item to be crafted. We've already discussed the underground belts, and we've discussed the splitters. We didn't quite mention the lab though, so the lab also needs transportation belts. And another important part of what's going on is the green science. So our green science is kind of what we're aiming for next. We've already started making things with red science, and there are some extra things here that we could be making. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and add fast inserter or blue inserters. We need to get to steel. We will be making steel in the next episode. We might get around to using it this episode. We will see. And we need green science for sure. I'm also going to need some repair packs at some point, because we will be taking on some biters at some point soon in the next episode. And we're going to get queue up automation 2, so we will not be able to access this until we get to green science. And then where's my better power poles here? These are slightly better power poles that require steel to make. We might get to that this episode, we might not. But we know that we need this for green science. So the purpose of me setting things up specifically this way is I want to have an underground belt come from here out to here, so that we can take these and place them onto this belt. So one thing to note about the mechanics of this game is when an inserter is placing things onto a belt, obviously it places it onto the opposite side. However, there isn't really an opposite side whenever the belt is facing directly away. So what the game does is it actually places things on the belt on the right-hand side of the direction of travel. So if it is traveling this direction, this inserter will always place things on the right-hand side. And we will be able to show that shortly once I get some power connections here. So this is going to come through an underground here, and this will continue on here. So let's see what this one needs. This one on the left-hand side needs plates and gears. So we do not have gears being made, but we do have plates being made. we're gonna longhand in some plates. Now, how do we get some gears? So I kind of needed to line things up a very specific way. And we're just gonna go here and I need some more of those. Oh, I need some more everything. However much you think you need, you probably need more. So this is going to be gears. So we can start with 3. I personally like to start with 5. So those will also be gears. So you might have just seen, I just did something crazy. So so you can actually copy a recipe from a building by holding shift and holding holding shift and right clicking. And then you can see that it stays green as I hold shift. And that is an indicator that you are pasting whatever is highlighted by the green into whatever you have as yellow. So I can shift right click and then shift left click. And I can also shift left click and drag, and that will copy all of these into the same recipe. So similarly to these and how this is required by, or this requires this and this requires this, and our green science, which will be up here, requires this, and our labs, which will be over here, requires this. The inserters have something similar. So yellow inserters will be our central section, and longhand inserters require yellow inserters. Once we research the blue ones, the fast inserter, these also require inserters. So we will have red here, yellow here, and blue here once it shows up. And then we can insert from this one into this one, and then from this one into the blue. We can go ahead and set that up now. And then we will need somewhere to drop off the inserters that we are creating that we need there. And if we look at green science needs transportation belts, which we already were aware of, but it also needs inserters. That's a bunch of things that need the yellow belts and a bunch of things that need the yellow inserters. So we're going to take this belt that now has our transportation belts coming into the right side, and we're going to drag this over here and have this output anything in this chest onto the left side. And now we have the magical making of what will be our blue science, and our green science. And then everything that we put into a box similar to this, we are going to limit via the wiring. I'm going to go ahead and connect that to that, this one to this box, and also this one to this box. So I want to enable if inserter is greater or is less than, we're gonna go with 200. That might sound like a lot, but we need a ton of them, especially once we start setting up the main smelting area for our main base, our main bus base. We will need lots. So I have these limited, but we're gonna remove this limit and this limit in favor for using the circuit connection. So we're gonna enable if underground belt, because that's what we are working on here. Enable if underground belt is less than, we'll just do 50, which is a whole stack. You can always scroll over and see what a full stack is. So you can see that the underground belt is a stack size of 50, and the transportation belt is a stack size of 100. Maybe I should clarify a little bit. So once this, enable if transportation belt is less than 600. Once this container that is circuit connected to the inserter, once the container fills up to 600, it will disable the inserter and prevent the inserter from functioning, which then prevents more than 600 from going into our box. It doesn't disable anything back here. This one will still continue to kind of buffer and make some extra belts here, It's like, I think it's like 7 or 8 that it ends up getting into. It's different per item, but that's how this circuit connection works. And if you don't understand that, don't worry, you will start to, because I will be saying everything the exact same way. I want to enable if splitters are less than, we're just going to do a stack size of 50. Another thing that this setup allows us to do is if we were to limit it like this, that is also one stack of 50. If you scroll over this, you can see a stack size of 50. I could say, you know what, enable if it's 40. Enable if splitter is less than 40, and that would give me a partial stack limited instead of a full stack, but we're gonna go with 50. Okay, we need to get some of this stuff going, so let's drag the power over. Oh, gears. We need to get some gears going. So we need... this might look a little funky, but I prefer to have them like grouped up like this. But in this particular case, we still have crappy power poles, and we are going to put these in the middle slot. This one, as you can see, also needs plates and gears, so we're going to put this one in the middle slot as well. And then we need to place these somewhere, and we just conveniently have this open slot on this opposite side. So we're going to take long hand inserters, and we're going to place those onto the belts over here. And here, and here, here, and these needing the inserters, we're going to pull that in like this. And then that opens up room for us to put power poles in the central locations. And we have gears going. Yay! So now all the stuff that needs gears that we have set up will be getting in gears. I actually need this to come back because I need to get gears into this one. Transportation belts are now actually automated, and it will start to, you can see this is placing items on the right hand side on direction of travel. Things are going good. All right. So what does the underground need? It needs iron plates. So we need to get a long hand inserter to reach over and grab these. That is functioning, and once that starts going, it'll start filling this box up. What do these splitters need? The splitters need iron plates and electronic units. So electronic units will come in here. Iron plates will come in here. And now that one will start pulling stuff off. And just kind of future proofing. I know I'm going to need a splitter here because the gears and specifically the green circuits will need to come off at this direction at some point. You will see that in a future episode. Maybe even this episode. What do we got? 23 minutes. So maybe not this episode. We got a lot to do. Okay, what do we need to automate inserters? We need iron plates, so let's put one here for iron plates, and then we need gears and green circuits, which can both be grabbed by one inserter here. If you see that you're like lagging like this, you can go ahead and put another one down if you want. We'll just do it just because, why not? Now this will be crafting basically at speed. And that is going into this. It is set to a limit of 200. Make sure to always double check your work. Like, it never hurts to go back through and be like, did I limit this? Did I limit this? Always double check. So we need some red inserters, and we need a box for the red inserters. We're going to limit them. Oops. Enable if red inserter is less than, we're just going to do 50. We don't need tons, but we definitely need some. Let's get a power pole for this one. We said that this was going to be blue inserter, so obviously our fast inserter is lagged. So I'm just going to grab... Ooh, that was probably way too much. Way too much. That's fine. We can get rid of that stuff later. Top up this. There is... Oof. I have so many inserters. Mostly this. Let's just dump all of that. I'm gonna take some of this copper and actually put it back in here. They can accept up to 100, which is a stack size. We just don't need it filling our inventory. Unless we need it. There! Got rid of all of it. Nice. Let's see. So that's gonna get our... Yes, that's gonna get our science going again. Okay, back to... Where were we? So you might have noticed, like, there's some stuff here. I just needed to save some space. Did I leave enough room? I did. Okay, whew. And then there's also this one here. So this one is not as important, even though it is kind of closer in the line, but this will be copper cable, and this is gonna be lights. Lights are important, and we're gonna put an underground right here so that we can box. No, 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 no. Oh, I literally did this in the last playthrough that I did too. I'm gonna shift this over, and now this guy can place the gears on this side. Whew. Alright, so we need somewhere for the lights to go. We are going to limit this one with a red wire circuit, and we are going to enable if lights are less than 50. We don't need to make more than a stack at a time. So this one also needs 3 copper cables per second, and this produces 2 copper cables per second, but because we don't really need that many, like it's not like these where we're feeding a whole bunch of machines, we're just feeding one box. It's fine just leaving this like it is. We'll place that over there so that we can get some power to these. There we go. And then this one needs power, so let's just do that. And then what else does this need? It needs electronic circuits and it needs iron plates, so we need one in and a long hand inserter in. It's crafting, so we're good to go. Yay, we have lights. So once we get a couple of those, I'll start placing those down. We have not gotten to blue inserters yet, that's fine. Next to blue inserters and next to the splitters, we're gonna need to leave some space here because we will need to, you'll see. Just leave a little gap here, and we obviously need space for this for inserters. So production, let's look at our assembling machine. So this needs all 3 of these. So we need one short one and one long one, and then we need an output box and an inserter into that. Let's definitely get this one going. Yes, please, automate away. And then we're gonna limit this. And here's a good example of what I mean. So we have a stack size of 50. We don't actually need a stack size of 50 because we will be upgrading these assembling machines soon. So I'm going to enable if assembling machine 1 is less than, let's just do 10. We only need 10 right now. Plus I have 2, so alright, fine. Alright, so this will be blue inserter in 3%. 2%. This one will be the electric miner. That is the next most important thing. Also on this list, we're gonna need some more labs. We don't need much, and we can grab the yellow belts that we need from this yellow belt over here. So we'll just launch that over there like that. I need some more boxes. This is now gonna be blue inserters. Ooh. Now he's already got regular inserters. So what does blue inserter need? Over on the right hand side, you can see that it needs electronic circuits, green circuits. It's just so much easier to say green circuits. Green circuits and iron plates. We need one long hand and one short hand. And I'm just using the pipette to, like, if there's something already here, I can just pipette them. So, and then we need to go into a box. So we are going to limit this one with the circuit network. Clicking on the inserter, we are going to enable if blue inserter is less than. We're going to start with 50. This guy's a little bit of a hog as well, so let's just do 50 from the start. As you can see, we are very quickly getting behind on green circuits because a lot of these guys are just hogging that stuff up. But that's okay. As long as it's eventually making something, then we're good. Let's put this one here. Miners needs, oh, all of these again. Crazy, I know. So we need iron plates here, we need gears here, and we need electronic green circuits and power for those. This is going to go into a box with a circuit to prevent us from getting too many. We're going to enable if miner, wherever that is, electric mining drill is less than. Now these have a stack size of 50, but we're going to need a ton of them, so we're going to limit this to 100. When we start looking to expand to some of these larger patches, we will probably use at least 100 on each of these. So 100 here, maybe a little bit more than like 110 here. And then this one needs an output and a limit. We are going to enable if labs are less than 10. And the stack size is actually 10, so that just kind of works out. And what does he need? He needs gears and green circuits. So like that. And they need some power. And he's getting the transportation belts from over here. Okay. And I also know that once we get steel, so we do need to try to craft some steel right away. So let's set up steel smelting. But we will need to set some room aside over here. And I'm going to have to clear out a bunch of trees at some point. So I don't know how we're going to get around that. But let's set up the other iron quickly. Shouldn't take too long. No. Because we are definitely probably going to be running out of iron soon. Like, this might not look like it. It look like, oh, we got a whole half a lane, but it will start eating up this stuff very, very fast. So power, which we can just drag through, and it'll place one everywhere we have a blueprint slot. I wish other machines worked like that, but unfortunately they don't. If I were to try to take these and just drag this, it'll just put one everywhere, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. I deleted the wrong one. Alright, so we do not have enough miners right now to even come close to filling this one. So, once we get the miners, one of the very first things that we're going to do is greatly increase our copper, or our, I'm always so backwards with them. Increase our iron, and we are going to do that right now. I need all kinds of stuff. I need belts. Look at all those belts. I need undergrounds. Now, I will often take a full stack, and then whatever I have left over that's not a full stack, you can see I just did that here. I put a full stack in, and there's an extra 14, and I put the 14 back. No miners yet. Come on, buddy. I blame these guys down here that are hogging up all the... Oh, he's missing something. See? Look at that. Oh, that was my fault. Oh, my bad. My bad. That was me. He's missing plates. He's missing plates. No! Alright. Continuing right along. Down here's good. What I should have done, you know what? Let's do this. And you can just load up. Okay, so let's take a look at what steel smelting is going to look like. We will eventually get the iron over here. Whatever, I don't care if they're ghosted. So iron is a little different. So, sorry, steel is a little bit different. So what does steel need? So we have to actually go into here because we don't have it researched yet. So steel needs 5 iron plates, and it is made in a stone furnace, steel furnace, or electric furnace. The other two you don't have to worry about right now. We'd have lots of stone furnaces. 115 to be exact. So that means that we need to make iron plates and put those iron plates into another smelter to make steel. Both of these need coal. So we have to do some weird shenanigans to make sure that they both get coal. At least the one we know we can just do like this and then feed off of it like this, right? These can then feed directly in, but these need coal. So we're gonna have coal split off, and we're gonna have 2 belts in the middle. One of them is gonna be taking the steel line, and the other one is gonna be taking a coal line to feed the inside pieces. So we will need an output, and we will need a long inserted input like this. Now we've kind of determined that the coal is gonna come into here. Now we need to figure out, I'm gonna Control X, so this is a cut. And I'm gonna cut these because I don't know how far back these are, but I want to keep that little setup. So we can just Control V and paste it. Well, let's say back there, just to keep it out of the way, but we know how things line up. So I need, we'll just line this up here. So I need copper, oh my goodness. I need coal to eventually branch over, go underground, and connect here so that these feed down this line. But I also need coal to go into here. So I'm gonna split off of this and then have coal go down the middle here. That allows us to have steel, which we are going, it doesn't matter if we start here or here, but I know that we probably need to start more this way. We're not lining it up exactly with this. We will line some of the steel up exactly with what we have over here, but for now this is what we're doing. You know, I suppose I probably could have shifted. Nah, we're gonna leave this like this for now. We have now learned steel, so we need to put this back into position. There. And we need to get some steel. So to make steel, we also need iron. We just need a couple for now. And there. I know this looks really funky, and we're like cutting this in half and half and half, like through this. But I promise, once we get some of the miners made, which we can actually grab those 33. Run down the belt for some extra speed. Oh, we have some. Awesome. 9. Very, very awesome. Let's just boost this guy. Help him out. Just whatever materials he needs, just toss them in there. If you just saw what I did, so I ran down the line and picked up items. If you hit F, you can just collect things off the ground. Yeah, so let's let him get some more. So we need to beef out the iron mining, obviously. Like this is just a trickle. We are at 39 minutes, so I'm probably going to just let this come out here. We will make sure that this is going, and we will continue more in the next episode. Oh, this just happened to line up. How about that? Ooh, that's not enough. Okay, we are going to ghost this through to here. We are avoiding the copper, thankfully. Oh yeah, we're getting almost all of this. Can we set up to have steel coming in before we go? And then these need power. These are only temporary. We just need a little bit of steel. So, help these guys along a little bit. They need to make 5. Oh, that's 2. Can I just grab some? Ah, you guys aren't making any. No. Oh, fine. I'll wait for the actual steel. Here we go, our first steel. Okay, so we are going to leave it at that for now. In the next episode, we are going to finish off our... let me get my notes, actually. So in the next episode, we're going to finish this off, and then we are going to talk about a couple of things, and we are going to design a city block. So if you watched episode, I think it was 0.5, the beginner section, I said that we are going to use sandbox mode to create a couple of blueprints, not a lot of them. Most of them I like to design in game, but the city block, we are going to design that in the next episode, at the very end of the next episode, in sandbox mode. So we're going to complete all of this and then go in for the sandbox mode for that. Oh, look at the steel. That is so awesome. We need that steel for these guys. And then these guys help us do more steel. It's going to be great. Yes, so we will be making the rest of the starter base. We will be expanding the iron. We will be completing the steel smelting. We will be setting up both red and green science automated. We're going to discuss a couple of things, and we will then end the video with a city block design. Oh, and we need to take care of some biters. Yes. Okay, so we will do as much of that as we can in the next episode. That is all for now, and thanks for watching.